Right. We got this, I opted for a 1/2 inch piece of OSB instead of the plywood that was in here. That was all rotted out. I got the bottom one in there. I decided to take a break and to share with you the importance of these little clips right here.
Okay, I'm trying.
You got that?
They're kinda.
Those 1/2 inch plywood clips for support. When this building was built, can you get up this way, Jeff?
Okay.
I know you're walking around drip edge and a bunch of stuff, but I just want them to see this right
And
here.
tools, I hope I don't fall.
So you can see this was 1/2 inch plywood. And this is back 35 years ago when they made plywood with good glue, good quality lumber. You all know the story of integrity, structure, more dollar for your money, more material for your money. And it was good stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna catch my breath here. But anyways, this right here is what happens without your plywood clips. Now, I don't know if that's required in your zoning, in your area, in your codes or not, but I just, I highly recommend them. I really like these clips. Now, this is OSB strand board. I like it. I mean, we have 2x4 rafters, trusses that were in here. Yeah, trusses, these weren't built. They got the plates in there, the commercial plates, so I know these are trusses. But there's 24 centers, and with that clip in there, it's way better than this. See that? I mean, that's because you don't have your plywood clips. So for the few dollars and a little bit of a pain in the butt it is to put them in there, I highly recommend putting those in there, especially if you're in snow country. Otherwise, you're going to get, you know, this to your roof, and it's in the long run, it's worth the money. So I just want to take 2 seconds. I just want to share that with you. I think it's a good idea. I welcome your comments, your opinions. A lot better builders out there than I am, but I've been in the construction industry 25 years. The homestead, probably been on 150 roofs in my life. Not tooting my horn, but I've seen a lot of different stuff out there, and been around the block, as you can see by the gray hairs, which means wisdom. So I just want to share that with you, and I welcome your comments on what you think about these plywood clips. And the next part of this, we're just going to continue. We're going to wrap this other piece around the chimney. We're going to put the plywood clips in there, and like I stated in the last video, we're going to put our drip edge on this. We're all set to go. Fascia boards are all good. We're going to run a couple rows of ice dam on this, and we're going to seal her up for the night, and we're going to get after it again tomorrow, and hopefully I can wrap this up by tomorrow evening. Thanks again. Whoop, I got caught. I was strumming away. Anyways, welcome back to part 2 of roofing the backside of our garage / art studio that Joe and I are working on. Used my chisel, like I said. I was fortunate enough that I could take care of the 2 top blocks on there without breaking anything. I didn't break the flue. The flue is right there. So that saved $20–30, the bonus round. Now all we got to do is actually put 2 more cement blocks on top of there and slide that flue back in, and we've got a nice chimney. Everything is nice and stable. Like I said, what I want to do is I want to remove those top 2 blocks. For one thing, they're cracked, and the second thing, I like to put my flashing and tuck it right inside of there, all the way around here is the goal, and then put my 2 blocks on top. If possible, I like to do my roofs like that for a couple reasons. I'm getting older, and I don't want to have to come up here every other year and tar and patch and do all of that. And if you took that flashing and stuck it inside that block, I mean, you're golden. You know, if you put your shingles over right and everything, you're not have to worry about it again. And unfortunately, well, we had some water damage over here because of that very reason. You know, either it wasn't roofed properly or something happened. That was one of the vent holes right there, and you can see.
Kinda. It doesn't show up great, I don't think, on the camera,
you
but
can
I'm
see
trying.
down there. Anyways, it damaged the OSB
okay.
and the ceiling inside the shop. So we got a little bit of insulation replaced and a piece of OSB, but I mean, structurally, we're still sound. No black mold, no dry rot. And I don't like these black roof vents. I really don't, for a couple of reasons on that. They're out in the sun, they're exposed to the sunshine all the time, and it's vinyl, plastic, whatever kind of material it's made of, and it gets brittle over time, and it starts to decay and wither away. And the other thing is, I mean, even up here, towards the peak of this roof. In the dead of winter, if you're up here and you got to shovel snow, sometimes we get 2 feet of snow up here at a time in northern Minnesota. These things are buried, and if you come up here a day or two after, that heat is not escaping out of this building where you're going to be able to see where those vents are. So you could step on those, and that may be what happened on that one. It got stepped on a time or two and it cracked it like that. I don't know, but anyways, I know it was broke and we got the damage. So I really don't like those vents. What I want to do is I want to put a ridge vent right down the center here. I'm going to cut this open. Once I overlap everything, we'll put the ridge vent in here. Let me know your thoughts on that. You know, I don't like it. I've been on a lot of roofs. I've seen a lot of these plastic vents. You can see the other one over there. Joe's walking the ridge. She's living on the edge here. But you can see that. We have to do this one too. It's, you know, it's the same way. Just absolute junk.
That one's even worse.
Yep. So let me know your thoughts on that. Leave a comment what you think of that. I like the ridge vent. I think we're going to cut this in. We're just going to come in 3 or 4 feet on each side of this 32-foot building and run maybe 8 vents. So you can see the deck has been replaced around the chimney. I'm thinking about...
Woo.
Careful there, girl. I've got everything I own on this roof, I think.
What?
What? So anyways, the only thing I want to do is I got to go in underneath here. I got to tuck some support boards in here, and I think I'm going to cut this back from the chimney about 4 inches, just because if this block ever does get real hot, you know, from the wood stove, I'm going to cut this back so it's not so close. I realized before when I ripped this back, they were all back about 3 inches, and that worked all these years. So I'm going to cut that back. I don't want it that close. So I think I'm going to do that. And again, I like these plywood clips. You know, you can see Joe pointed it out right here. She goes, yeah, 24-inch rafters spacing over the years. This is good, sturdy plywood back in the day. You know, and we got a knot right there, and see what happened. It was weakened from snow load, and if there was a plywood clip in there, that'd have been sealed nice and tight. Now what's going to happen is we put our shingles on there, even these architectural shingles, there's just going to be that little imperfection that just kind of ticks you off. Structurally sound still, but I do like the plywood clips. I can't say enough about that. It's worth a pain in the rear end to have to put them in when you slide your next piece of OSB or sheeting on your roof, but it's a good idea.
Don't mind any yard mess in the background. That's another big project we've been working on too.
Yeah,
we'll have a few videos on that.
We've got our work cut out here in the homestead, but we got to seal the roofs and we got to prevent the water damage.
Yes.
So that's our priority. And it is only June, but you know, northern Minnesota priority is,
You never know.
is wood heat too. We might have to have that the 4th of July. So anyhows, from this old grandpa, have a good day, and I'm trying to catch my breath still. I'm trying to figure out what I got to do next. We're going to run some drip edge. I got the fascia boards all fixed up. We got all the nails knocked down on the deck here, and we got to patch these. We got to patch these holes. That's what I want to talk about real quick. Like I said, we're usually real authentic. We don't like to do a lot of editing, monkey business. We got things to do on the homestead instead of sitting in front of the computer and cut and paste parts of the video. So what I want to do here is I'm just going to take some 3-inch construction screws. I'm going to build a box out of 2x4s. You know, half the 2x4, the 1.5 inches, 3/4 inch on the inside of my deck board, and 3/4 of an inch right here. And I'm just going to drop a piece of plywood in there and just screw it all together. And then I'm going to run one this way too, so that this kind of gets shored up right here too, so you don't have this big sag. And I think that'll tie together real nice. And you put 1/2-inch piece of plywood or OSB in there, that'll fill those gaps in really nice. And like I said, we're just going to run a ridge vent. On the gable ends of this, I have big vents, so I'll have good airflow on my gable ends. And with the ridge vent, I think I'll be in good shape. You can see on the roof up there of the house, that's another story, another project. Keep the camera high, so.
Yeah, tried.
we got a lot of work in the backyard to do too. We got some siding to put on. We got a new door on there, some windows. What I want to say is we got those whirlybirds up there, and those were put in quite a while ago. I roofed the back of that, and I left them up high like that, right next to my ridge vent, and it really took away all my ice dams on the back of the house. you know, so maybe they could have been down lower, a little bit closer to the gable end. I don't know. And again, your thoughts on that? You know, I've been on 100 some roofs, cold climates, done a lot of construction, and I'm by no means an expert, you know, homesteading, but I've done a lot of construction in my day. And your thoughts on that too? I know the one is crooked, you know, I've kind of got a...
Oh my gosh.
But we'll
Don't
fix
even
it.
get them started.
Yeah, don't get me on my whirly gigs up there. They're a little bit crooked, but I'll get up there and I'll adjust those too.
We're still trying to work on hanging gutters up, and he'll notice one little thing, like just, you'll never notice it except for him.
Yeah, I get a little anal on stuff to the point of almost where I don't get it done. But it's on the back of this house. I didn't get the back of this of the roof done yet either, because I don't like the way that valley was set up. You got that little cut-in roof down to your walk-in basement right there, and up above that is a bedroom closet with that storage up above that door right there. And what I don't like about that is that one valley, this one on this side to the left on the west side here, that's no big deal with snow load and ice and stuff. I have no problems there. But it's the other one where that cuts into the house. You got about a 2-3 inch gap in between your fascia boards from your horizontal and your 412 pitch on the overhang there, and I get an ice dam there.
Project for another.
Yeah, I guess we're off on another subject here, but it was what I always do. But anyhow, I just look forward to people's comments and opinions on what to do with that. And then up on the top up there too, I got those plastic vents. Those got to go. I'm thinking with that plastic vent up on the top up there, I want to get rid of that, and I'm going to put another whirly bird up on that end, I think. And if I put a vent on this gable end, I think it'll be okay, and maybe that'll relieve my issue with you know, ice dams and things like that, because I'm getting up there. I don't want to keep climbing up and down, you know, 2 or 3 times a month and make sure I don't have an ice dam there and it's going to cause damage inside the home. I did a lot of work in there, recessed lights, you know, extra insulation, 5/8 drywall in the ceiling. It's all finished up in there, and I just don't want any water damage, and I can't have that ice dam. So your thoughts, opinions on that really matter. Comment. Kind of rambling away here, but it is what it is. You know, follow our channel, please like, share, subscribe, and I get this sealed up probably for the night. We'll be back with part 3. We get around that chimney, we throw some ice dam on here, and Joe and I are gonna go fishing, so stay tuned, and I'm gonna outfish her.